For those of us coming into Orthodoxy from a Protestant background, Orthodoxy is uncomfortable. It's tough. It's difficult. It takes a lot of extra work, extra effort, things that we as former Protestants are not used to doing. One example of that is the yearly fasts that we do, right? The Orthodox Church fasts roughly 200 out of 365 days in the year. So, and an Orthodox fast is basically living a vegan diet. So for 200 days out of the year, you are abstaining from a lot of foods that you enjoy and eating a lot of stuff that you might not enjoy. When you go into liturgy at an Orthodox church or any service really, it's uncomfortable. You're standing for long periods of time. All the children are in the liturgy with you. Why do we do this? Well, part of it, I'm not going to say it's the entire purpose, because ultimately the purpose of Orthodoxy is to grow your relationship with Christ until you're fully united with him, right? But the primary way we do that in Orthodoxy is by denying the self, right? There are things that you want, and Orthodoxy teaches you how to say no to your own desires. Honestly, whether that's going to the gym, whether it's fasting, whether it's getting up early, all of these things are part of the Orthodox growth mindset, as opposed to a non-growth mindset where you're just okay the way you are and you have no interest in progressing, or maybe don't even believe you can get better. Orthodoxy is about improving, not only, like I said, in our relationship with Christ, but in our abilities as human beings. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, Paul says that he buffets his body daily so that he can bring it into subjection, lest he preaches the gospel to others and then himself becomes disqualified. So this process in Orthodoxy of learning to deny the self helps in our salvation. It is essential for salvation, because unless we can learn to deny ourselves and take up our crosses, we are enslaved to sin. So it is essential for someone coming into Orthodoxy. They have to understand you're going to have to do things that you don't like. And in fact, Orthodoxy, I can almost say, is just entirely about learning to do things that are right, even if you do not have the motivation, even if it doesn't feel good, even if you don't want to do it, even if you don't feel up to it that day. You have to do anyway. You have to do it anyway. That is the Orthodox ethos, the Orthodox mindset. There's a book that I've been reading to my kids, written by Jocko Willink, called The Way of the Warrior Kid. And as I've said many times, Jocko Willink is probably like the most Orthodox, non-Orthodox person that I can think of. I learn a great deal about Orthodoxy from just listening to his podcasts and reading his materials. And in this book is about a child named Mark. And Mark is suffering from a lot of things in his life that are not going well. So for example, he's bullied at school. He is not doing good academically. He's weak, can't do a lot of pull-ups. He's scared of the water, so he doesn't know how to swim. And this is about Mark's journey. And this is basically a kid's book, maybe like a young teen book. But it's about Mark learning from his Uncle Jake how to be a warrior kid, right? So he learns to conquer all these hardships that he's facing, right? And chapter 12 here is called Discipline Equals Freedom. And this chapter starts out as Mark has been getting up early and he doesn't want to get up early anymore. And he asks his Uncle Jake, I'm just going to read some passages here. He says, so he takes a long time to get up in the morning, and his Uncle Jake asks him, what's going on? Why are you not getting up? You missed your workout this morning. What's going on? He says, this program is taking up all my time. I'm getting tired of doing so much. Maybe I could just get the chance to relax and watch some TV sometime. I could use a little freedom to do what I want. So his Uncle Jake responds, we all want freedom, Mark, all of us. That is what I want in my life. That's what my friends and I fought for overseas. He's in the military. Freedom is the best thing in the world, but freedom isn't free. If you want true freedom in life, you have to have discipline. Do you know what discipline is, Mark? Doesn't discipline mean you follow the rules, I said. That's one kind of discipline, Uncle Jake said, but it isn't as simple as just following the rules people give you. The most important part of discipline is following rules that you set for yourself. It's doing things you might not always feel like doing, things that make you better. Listen, if you want freedom from being bullied at school by Kenny, the bully, You have to have the discipline to go to jiu-jitsu class and learn the skills to defeat him. If you want freedom from ridicule when you do pull-ups at school, you have to have the discipline to train so that you can do more pull-ups. If you want the freedom to swim in the water and enjoy your school trip, you need the discipline to overcome your fear of the water and learn how to swim. What about school? Do you want to be free of being stumped on tests and not knowing the answer to questions in class? Then you need the discipline to study and learn the material they teach you. When you get older, you're going to want financial freedom. That means having enough money to do what you want without worrying about it. The only way you're going to get financial freedom is by having financial discipline, by saving money and not wasting it on things you don't need. And all that discipline starts with getting up early in the morning. And then later he asks his Uncle Jake, he says, how do you do these things when you're not motivated, right? Or, you have discipline. Is discipline what keeps you motivated? He says, is that what keeps you motivated, Uncle Jake? I asked, wondering how he stays so fired up all the time. Motivated, Uncle Jake replied, I don't worry about motivation because motivation comes and goes. It's just a feeling. You might feel motivated to do something and you might not. The thing that keeps you on course and keeps you on the warrior path isn't motivation, it's discipline. Discipline gets you out of bed. Discipline gets you onto the pull-up bar. Discipline gets you to grind it out in jiu-jitsu class. If you do these things only when you are motivated to do them, you might do them only half of the time. Sure, it's nice when motivation is there, but you can't count on motivation. You have to rely on the personal discipline you develop. Like you said, discipline equals freedom, right? So there we go. Once again, very orthodox lesson laid out by Jocko Willink in this kid's book. When it comes, you could have thrown at the end of the list there, discipline is what gets you to liturgy on Sunday morning. Discipline is what helps you do the fasts, right? Orthodoxy is about building discipline. And once again, as the means to the end of building your relationship with Christ. And how does it do that? Because you can't be united to Christ while you are choosing to sin over and over and over again. So a part and parcel of being united to Christ is learning to resist what your sinful fleshly desires, to take up your cross daily and to follow Christ, right? You can't do that if you have no discipline. You will always be trapped, enslaved to the flesh. And you can't serve two masters. And so why is orthodoxy difficult? Why are the services so uncomfortable? Because that's what it takes. That is a feature. It's not a bug. You are supposed to be uncomfortable. You are supposed to not feel good about it. It's supposed to be more work. If you're not up for that, then if you're not up for learning to lift more weight, if you're not up for learning to say no to yourself and to do hard stuff, there's really, it's not cut out for you, right? You have to have the discipline you have to at least be willing to develop the discipline. That's what orthodoxy is about. It can't be made more comfortable. It can't be made easier. It's a narrow path and it's a heavy weight to lift. That's what it's all about.